Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Looks like it's going to be a mild one for mid-February. Time for our weekly conversation with Mayor Paul Coogan of the city of Fall River. Mayor, how are you today?
Doing fine, Keith. How about you?
I'm doing well. We talk about the mild weather. We may have a snowstorm on Friday. I know you're looking ahead at that, but I want to get to a couple of other issues. Last night, the city council gave its approval to moving forward on the construction of a new Diman Regional Vocational Technical High School. There are some other elements to this, however. The city may need to have a vote of the community to sort of ratify that support of the project. What do you know about this process? And do you have any other information to share about when something like this could take place? And I guess your general thoughts about city council vote and moving Diman forward.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things we thought was going to happen. There was going to be a process taken up last night, which would have moved it to its next phase, which is a vote of the citizens. Obviously, it's a tremendous advantage to the city to have a new diamond, but at the same time, we have to pay for it. And the numbers I've seen are roughly around $70 for a $100,000 house. So going forward, I want to make sure the residents have a say on that. We did the same thing with Durfee. We went out, we campaigned, we made our best case for a new school, and I believe that it's incumbent on Diamond to do the same kind of thing. Now, of course, I told them I'd be willing to help them, but we're not going to move forward without hopefully the public weighing in on this school.
Now, in terms of, that was a big discussion last night. How will the city pay for this? The city's looking at approximately $6.5 million a year over a 30-year period for the project. Well over $190 million total as the numbers stand right now. That could change. This vote would just be to approve the project. Then it would fall upon the administration to come up with ways to pay for that. Have you thought about that at all and some options that may be on the table?
Well, that would be the option, the debt override. I think if we had to cut that kind of money out of the budget or try to develop new revenues, it would be a significant problem for the city of Fall River. I'm not saying it can't be done, but at the same time, that's a tremendous amount of work. We looked at a school like that, very similar to we looked at the Durfee project. It's a significant amount of money. The voters should have a say on it. That's our first focus, is making sure that people can weigh in on a school like that. It's like I said, it's a benefit to the community, but again, everybody should have a say on how we fund it.
And that would be, just so the people watching would know, that if there is a debt exclusion involved, that would be a separate vote. That wouldn't be the vote that could be coming up soon. The vote coming up soon would just be pretty much to approve the project. Then there would need to be a second vote if the people are willing to take on another form of debt in terms of an exclusion. That would happen later on.
We might
Correct?
try to combine those. That's one of the things we've talked about a little bit yesterday. We don't have a final ruling on that, but we would try to combine those if we could. Do you approve the school and do you favor a debt override?
Okay, so that could be 2-in-1. So that'll be good. We'll find
Okay.
out more
We will.
as it moves forward.
Work to
Also last night, yeah. Last night, City Council approved your appointment of Roger St. Martin as the new fire chief in Fall River. Talk about how you feel now Chief St. Martin will serve the city of Fall River.
Well, Roger is a very well respected, longtime member of the Fall River Fire Department. He's had a number of roles. I saw him in action at the Irving Street Fire. I think it was his first day of work as chief, and he was steering that whole event. It was a big job, and I saw him boots on the ground, hands-on type of leader, and that's what we need for the fire department. I think he'll be fine. I know he's well respected by the men, and that goes a long way in that job.
Yeah. Absolutely. I want to shift gears now. Actually, I believe an initiative that's actually starting today is something that the city takes part in every year. It is getting a handle on the homeless population here in the city of Fall River, and the city is actually sponsoring, in conjunction with a number of partner organizations in the city, as well as the homeless shelter and the overflow homeless shelter, for what's called a point in time count. And that is starting today through the weekend. Talk about how important it is, Mayor, to get that accurate count of the homeless situation in Fall River.
Well, we have a number of programs in place, and we're constantly looking for ways to refine and make them better for our homeless population, whether it's an overflow shelter, whether it's a warming center, whether it's the first step in. And we want to have an accurate number of how big this problem is. The other day, Mike Dion and I from CDA were walking around one of the homeless camps in the city, trying to see how many people were there. Actually, it was pretty quiet. It was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon at that time, but this is a big problem. It's very, very difficult. We saw what Boston just went through at Mass and Cash. It's a very, very tough problem, but we're trying to make sure people are safe, they're warm in the bad weather, and they're getting the help they need to hopefully turn their life in a better direction for themselves. I think homelessness is a national issue, and it doesn't spare Fall River. We have a number of camps around the city where these individuals live, and as I said, we just want to make sure they're safe. They're out of the weather when it's bad, and they know that there's supports in place for them. We got a great team on the ground with our outreach workers that are out there in the middle of a snowstorm in some cases to bring people in and get them to shelter. So again, it's a moving target. You got to stay on top of it, but we got a good crew working on it all the time, and we'll get a better handle on account with what's going to go on over the next few days.
And it's also important in terms of funding that the city may be able to receive in terms of dealing with homelessness, right? It's similar to the census in some ways. The more accurate the count, the more potential to get some investment in the city.
Well, again, of course, but it's the same problem. I read a story yesterday about Miami as apartments. Prices just keep shooting up. It becomes more difficult to find that studio, that 1-bedroom apartment that you can place someone in and give them some supports, whether it's Catholic Social Services, Stepping Stone, or any of these organizations that go out of their way to support people that need additional help. But finding places for them to live now is even more testing, because as prices go up, old units are renovated, they get a substantial increase in rent, and places where you had people that could live comfortably are now being forced out with these escalating rents.
Yeah. Shifting gears now to an event that's actually going to be happening a little bit after we're speaking here. You're going to be taking part with U.S. Senator Ed Markey in a forum that will focus on the opioid epidemic and how it's impacting Fall River. How did this come about? And I guess what is the expected potential outcome to getting the senators here today?
I think that's what that is. That's getting the senator's ear. He's in an influential spot where he can help us. We just received that SAMHSA grant for $2 million over the next, I think it's 5 years, might be 3, but that grant's going to go a long way in helping us to get treatment to the people that need it. Obviously, again, Fall River is following the national trend, and this is a across the country problem. And if you can get a U.S. senator to come down and take specific interest in the programs and policies we have in place in Fall River, with an eye towards giving us more supports, that's going to be a good thing for the city.
Yeah. Finally, I want to wrap up. We just talked about how today may be a very mild day. I believe the 60s here in Fall River. Sort of gets us to look ahead to the summer months and things getting warmer. I know your office announced last week that you're going to be reinstituting the summer movies at BMC Durfee High School. Any information on that and any other potential events we may be looking forward to? I know it's a little early, but as we head toward the summer.
It's early. Again, I think you're going to see an expansion of the program with the Narrows and the parks, music in the parks to more parks. I think you're going to see probably a couple of concerts down on the city pier more towards the end of the summer. I think you're going to see an expanded program for the 4th of July. I know you're going to see a few food truck festivals. We've already been working on these events. And again, music in different parks. In different places across the city. I think it's going to be a good thing. And again, with the sports leagues and the showings, I've heard about a car show. I've heard about a couple of tournaments. So we're going to expand all these things to try to give people an outlet and have some fun. As seems like COVID's on the wane right now, but we don't count on that either. And hopefully it allows more people to get outside.
Absolutely. Something to look forward to. All right, Mayor Paul Coogan, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
All right, Keith. Thank you.
All right. And thank you for joining us as always here in FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great Wednesday.